Believe in an afterlife and hope for a quiet passing or something. Not, you don't want to be going through hospitals and cancer and all the heart trouble and all that goes with it before you pass away. You just like to sort of sleep away, and that's an exaggeration to make a point, but you just hope you don't get into any of the maladies that would create a tough death. And that is so possible, but I don't know, that's a nebulous thing. What is your afterlife, Are you going to be floating around as they show it in cartoons on a cloud? Or, I don't know, I've never grappled with that subject very much. I'm at odds, but a quiet, peaceful death with a quiet, peaceful afterlife, I guess is put sort of crudely, but that's what I'd like to see.
Blew away, the sun's gonna shine in my back door someday. I'm gonna lay my head. The things that I've been clear about planning and stayed on, I can say that I've reached them. But the other things, I think that's part of life, true. But I want to not say, okay, well, this is as far as I go. I want to not feel like it's a mystery. I now want to move that ceiling, and it's a strange thing to want to do it at this age and at this point in my life. And the reason I'm saying that is when you say, what is my idea of hope? The first thing that comes to mind is an unadulterated kid's laugh. That pure belly laugh of a kid. That is the biggest idea of hope that comes to my brain.
So we talk about a myth of Pandora and what it was like when they release and open the Pandora box, like all the evil things in the world are in the world because escaped from that box. And the only thing that was left on that box was hope. Meaning that hope is a bad thing for the Greeks and for the classics. And meaning that it's something that we don't see as a bad thing, or we don't consider as a negative value, but because it's not as present as the rest of the evil. So it was really influenced by that, my idea of hope, and in that time, and it still is.
also what I want to do with my life later on. I want to become a soccer professionalist because I practice it a lot and it's one of my favorite sportsmanships. And I would also like to become a black belt in karate, but sometimes I don't go to karate because I'm tired or hurt. And also, I would like to be a good man when I grow up.
I would like to graduate and go to a performing arts college. I really want to dance and like act and a bunch of things. Like, I want to do something that makes me happy for the rest of my life. I don't want to be doing a job that I absolutely hate for the rest of my life. I want to be doing something that I enjoy, and I don't want to waste my life doing something I hate.
I think that one of my biggest goals is to be happy with myself, to feel like I've really done what I thought I couldn't do. I really pushed myself to the limit. That, to me, is success.
The fact that I was like a gymnast when I was a little kid, from 6 years to 13, 14 years old, and it was like a huge illusion, like something like, not illusion, but like something that I really wanted to accomplish in my life, like to be a gymnast and go to Olympic Games.
Dreams for the future were just vast. To do so many things with and for the children, with my husband, and launch the children and travel and do a lot of things. And bang, it was just like a shade coming down. The future was just bleak and black. And I had absolutely no idea of what would come.
It is in a sense a process of discovery, of discovering things rather than a fixed notion or idea of how things should be.
Expectations are limited because they come from ourselves and therefore don't look at the entire picture. They don't account for outside forces. They don't account for circumstantial differences.
And I was frightened. I remember being terribly frightened. I was afraid if I went out and crossed the street, something might happen to me, and where would those children be? Well, I had to get over that. It's a strange thing, the way life goes. You end up doing that which has to be done. Whether it frightens you, whether you want to do it or whether you don't, you do it.
I think that immaturity and getting older and getting more mature is a lot about being practical. I don't think that, grandiose dreams and grandiose ideals are impractical. I just think that it's important to look at how things happen. Things happen in small. They start small and then they get big. How can I start from a big place and get smaller?
And so I just proceeded to breakfast, lunch, dinner, shopping, putting it away. And I was so busy that it was the best thing in the world for me. I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself or worry about the future or anything. It was all I could do to get through the day. I didn't even read a book there for a while because by the end of the day I was so tired. Nature has a way of taking care of you.
And even though it's a surprise and we don't really know where it's going, we don't really know what it becomes, but that not knowing is, in an essence, how it should be.
So I think that one of the biggest shattered illusions I've had in my life was the idea that I would live in and exist in a very close-knit, tight, nuclear family that I've seen in movies or in traditional ideals.
I was very happily married and had 5 children, all very close together, just about 2 years apart. And my husband, Harry, went off on a golfing trip.
You get to a place of comfort, or I think what I thought, changing expectations, I think what I thought that I would be at a certain, though the plan wasn't clear.
And then how that kind of opened up kind of made me realize, well, anything could do that. Anything, any illusion that I had, any, ideal that I was working for or that I thought would be in existence could be shattered at any moment.
And the next morning, we were wakened with a phone call saying that Harry had breakfast prior to playing golf, rose from the dining room table, and dropped dead of a heart attack. I was 38, he was 43, and it was a shock to end all shocks. No one knew this was coming. There was absolutely no warning, and it was as if the world stopped spinning.
But I think that a lot of times it's easy for me to get stuck in the way that I am right now. And the only time that I can change or reassess that is when I have to. That's starting over. That's starting over from square one. Okay, go back, look at yourself, and what can you do differently this time? That will always be a universal truth, I think, for me.
How much permission you give yourself to fail, because that's the big one. How much permission. I want to keep giving myself permission to fail. That's scary, very scary.
And I think this idea that is that about choice. It's like opportunities open, and we either take them or not. That's one point of view. However, really, I think it's good to really question how much choice there really is in life,
I was like, it's not like, I have a dream and I'm gonna stick to the dream and nobody can tell me otherwise.
Maybe you had a dream and maybe you didn't take a certain opportunity, but in the end, how do we know that that was really a choice or not?
You discovered that sports is like hard. It's a really hard way to do things. I had a little minor accident that completely broke down and shattered completely like my confidence on myself about like jumping and doing stuff. So that was hard, because for me to quit and have to step away of that path was kind of crazy. But then I found other stuff in the way to do.
There was another place for me to be. There's various things I would like to do in the future, and if I can't do any of those things, then I would like to be a video game designer, because I've already been in a few movies, helped my friends design some stuff, and I would like to create cool video games for kids to play, and I would just think it's a really fun thing to do.
I want to see a sane kid, and a kid that, because I have one, and a kid that is self-motivated, that if I am not standing close, I can feel sure he'll keep generating himself and moving himself forward.
And I got probably exactly what I could define as the job of my dreams. Something that I always wanted since I started to study humanities and that. So I think it is a great point to start to create a projection of what my future will be.
Someone recently asked me what motivates you, or what drives you to do things. And my answer was simply being better. I want to be better. I want to, be a different lady every year, every minute, every day even, I guess, in some small, minuscule way.
Like in a sense, in terms of our success or our reaching a goal, how can we say it's just a straight line?
Well, I think I hope to stay well. The thought of being a burden to my children is a horror. I simply would be very unhappy if I lost my independence.
Maybe it's a circle. Maybe we're moving around it, as in the journey, we're moving around that, and we're coming back to similar places, but every time we come back, it's different.
And you want to stay reasonably productive. Just to exist would be dreadful. You have to contribute. You have to contribute straight through life, but particularly when you're old.
I mean, things change, and that's one of the biggest lessons in growing up, is you realize that nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same.
And though everybody I know that has a clear plan, they reach that plan. I'm not kidding. Everybody I know that says, I got this plan, they've reached it.
And
Feel
if you
differently.
didn't go to heaven,
Pardon me?
if you didn't go to heaven, where would you go?
You go to purgatory or hell?
You believe in that?
I guess I do, yes. I have to if I believe in heaven. Yeah.
It's just trying to look all the time up to the mountain, and how you go for it and fight for it, and you exhaust yourself day after day after day after day to be back again at the same point. Because it's what you value, and because it's what you want to achieve in your life, you're gonna keep looking to the peak of the mountain again and again and again. It might not exist, but it makes you move. It's what generates the motion, and motion, it's like what it means to be alive and what it's living. So